Good morning and welcome to the September edition of Millennial Hangout. And I'm excited this September because September is my birth month. And I'm just going to put it this way. Every single day in September is my birthday. I don't know about you. But anyway, you are welcome to the Millennial Hangout for this month. And this month's theme is quite interesting. It's called Digital Transformation for Startups for Millennials, that is. Well, here's the thing about digital transformation. It cuts across to every single sphere of life, which is great because now it's helping businesses be businesses without having to douche your head about a lot of things. It's beautiful if you ask me. Well, this particular one, I'm not going to obviously be talking about it alone because I'm not that big a professional in the field, but I have beautiful speakers right here with me. I have Philip Obianuju, I've got Babajide Success, as well as Eyitayo, who will be joining us in a few seconds, more like. Well, but let's just go straight into it. I've had a little chit chat with my wonderful speakers, but I'm going to let them have that chit chat with you. If you have any presentation, my speakers they have, and they're going to give you a little bit insight to what it is that they do. I'm going to be starting with Success Ajilore.
All right, thank you very much. I have a presentation slide I'll be sharing shortly.
All right. Yes, you can go ahead.
All right, thank you. Please, can you allow me
to share screen? Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah, just go ahead. Go ahead.
All right.
Yes.
All right. Can you see my screen?
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. Thank you. Yeah. And I hope you can hear me loud and clear. All right. Today we'll be talking about digital transformation and startups for millennials. I will say digital transformation for startups. I won't limit it to startups. I will say that once you introduce something new to your business, you are like open to starting all over again, and that is actually to your advantage because you have seen that there's an identified need for that change to happen, and you are ready to take up the challenge to carry out that change if it will transform your business on the global scale. So introducing digital transformation, you can start by imagining a world where businesses operate seamlessly. And everybody knows now that the world is a global village. We are no longer local. We're supposed to be comfortable being local champions. And since people are actually relying on the millennials and the youths to take over, this is our time, and this is a time for us to embrace a lot of technology in the process of our businesses. So imagine a world where businesses operate seamlessly, adapting to rapid technological changes. We already know that technological changes are rapid, and digital transformation is actually not just about applying technology, it's a mindset shift. If we are still using the old mindset to operate businesses today, then we have a long way to go. Digital transformation is not just an option for startups, it's actually a game changer. It's not an option for businesses, it's a game changer. So we have examples of businesses that have embarked on a transformational journey, embracing new tools and strategies to thrive on today's fast-paced environment. Today we are going to explore this journey and its significance for startups. Let us understand what this digital transformation is about. It refers to the integration of digital technology into all areas of a business. So when you want to start a business, or when you are in the process of starting or process of carrying out the business, the problem is that some people don't understand that you've already started the business knowingly or unknowingly, when you know that you already have a customer, you already have a product, you already have a service. But the issue is that in your mind, you have to imagine all the departments of your business. You have to imagine that your business should have the finance unit, should have the sales and marketing unit, should have the IT unit, should have customer service, should have all sorts of departments that are that are relevant to the process of the business, of carrying out the business. So if you don't even identify all these departments, you won't be able to apply digital transformation into these departments of your business. Now, you have to digital transformation is integration of digital technology into all areas of businesses, fundamentally changing how you operate and deliver value to customers. Remember, our customers don't really care about you. All they care about is value. If the day you stop giving them value, they switch to the next customer. So value can come in the sense of saving their time, saving their money, saving their effort, because you know that people are getting lazy these days. They don't want to go through long journeys and stress themselves out before they get what they want. They want to get things as fast as they can. It's about leveraging technology to streamline these processes you have identified and enhance customer experience and create new business models. The top businesses that operate in the world, that are successful all over the world, are those that have understood that customer experience is key. So they have to keep striving to infuse technology to increase the value that the customer experiences. Why does digital transformation matter? It's not just for startups, as I said, but it's not just a buzzword, it's actually a necessity. It's about staying competitive in a rapidly evolving market and meeting the ever-changing expectations of tech-savvy customers. You can agree with me that our customers are now tech-savvy. So we need to carry them along in that aspect of our business. The story of digital transformation. I may not be able to go through all the stories, but we know how we always had traditional ways of doing business, which but now it is changing into a digital age where we have cloud computing, where all your data are stored in the cloud, and we now apply AI. And you will agree with me that AI keeps evolving. We have AI for different purposes now. So if you don't identify what your business needs, which AI your business needs, then it will be mismanagement of even the available resources of AI. Now, and big data revolutionize how companies operate. We know that we are operating with big data now. We are operating we have to have the mindset that our customers are now in the global. It's now a global cost. It's now our business is now a global business. I know that we say when we want to do business, we identify our customers, but that customer you have identified is all over the world as well. It's like a demography of customer and all that. So we have to understand how we apply big data to be able to maximize the application of digital transformation. Now, startups began to emerge, leveraging technology to disrupt established industries. Now, we just talk about a simple coffee shop, and now we have people delivering coffee to your doorstep if you want it as fast as possible. Let's quickly go on the 6 stages of digital transformation. We already know that business, as usual, has been operating, and organization operates with familiar legacy perspective of customers and processes. But we move to the present and the active. We have our pockets of experimentation and driving digital literacy and creativity. Our responsibility is that when we have a business or when we have any startup, we should understand that we cannot do it all by ourselves. We have to build a team. And if we build a team that don't have like minds, it will be a problem. So the aspect of creating this digital literacy among your team members is very important. Formalized. Experimentation becomes intentional while executing at more promising and capable levels. If business is all about risk, you can try a an AI today or a digital tool today, and it is not really helping the business. It's not really delivering the value you expect. So it doesn't stop you from trying something new tomorrow. Now, in the process of going through these stages, we must be strategic. Individual groups recognize the strengths in collaboration as their research work, shared insights contribute to new strategic roadmaps that plan for digital transformation, ownership efforts, and investments. So, as a business person, as a startup, as a company, we have to understand that collaboration is key, and also research is key. In every company, in every business that will go far, there must be a research unit. A research unit in the sense that there's a group of people or a person that is responsible for identifying new ways of doing things and disrupting old ways of doing things. Converged, a dedicated digital transformation team forms a guide, strategy, and operations based on business and customer-centric goals. Now, innovative and adaptive. When you pick a digital tool, you have to ensure that you are innovative about the use of it and you are keep adapting to new ways of applying it. So we have benefits of digital transformation. There are several benefits, numerous benefits. First of all, customer focus. It helps to ensure that your customer focus is actually hitting the nail on the head. Also, organizational structure. It supports a seamless customer experience, change management, and cultural transformation. Transformational leadership drives technology decisions. Technology decisions involve entire C-suites. Integration of all data systems. Internal customer experience. Now, everybody that you work with have to be educated on how to use these digital tools. And logistics and supply chain improve efficiencies. Data security, privacy, and data ethics. So the downside to digital transformation or use of digital tools is always the issue of security, data security. So thank God we have regulations in terms of data security now, and what we need to do is now establish systems and structures to protect our data. Also, evolution of products, services, and processes around delivery, then digitalization of business, then personalization that guides the customer. In all, applying digital transformation increases efficiency because automation, it causes automation of repetitive tasks and data-driven decisions, because without getting the direction of your data, we cannot make decisions that will expand the business. It also encourages greater agility, that digital transformation fosters adaptability in a changing market. It also puts the business at a competitive advantage. We'll just look at a little examples of companies or people that have applied digital transformation. I'm sure we are aware of Netflix. From DVD rentals to streaming giants, Netflix embraced digital transformation, revolutionizing entertainment consumption. So now all over the world, everybody can just put on their laptop, put on their TV, and stream to Netflix and then have a better entertainment experience. Airbnb, this has leveraged this technology to connect hosts and travelers, transforming the hospitality industry. You agree with me that hotels and shotlets now have more patronage because of Airbnb. They have brought it to the customer, they've pushed it in the face of the customers, and customers just in their sitting room just select where they want to go and place a reservation. Spotify uses agile development practices to continuously improve its platform, respond to user feedback, and ensuring it remains at the forefront of music streaming industry. Slack. Stewart Butterfield and his team pivoted from a failed gaming company to create Slack, a communication platform that revolutionized workspace collaboration. Their ability to adapt and embrace digital tools allowed them to capture a significant market share. So, what are the key takeaways of these particular people who has embraced digital transformation? Is actually to let you know that we millennials have the skills and adaptability within us and the vision to harness this transformation. So by embracing it, we are leveraging on the data, the global data and our local data, and we can turn challenges into opportunities and create businesses that not only thrive, but not only survive, but thrive in the digital space. I'll just give a few examples. We can leverage on so many examples of digital tools, but for start off, just to have an idea of what is existing right now, like Trello or Asana. This is a project management tool. We agree that if we want to flourish in our business, we have to treat each customer as a project. Asana or Trello is a project management tool that helps team organize tasks, track progress, and collaborate effectively. Google Analytics is a powerful analytics tool that provides insights into website traffic, user behavior, and conversion rates, allowing businesses to optimize their online presence. HubSpot HubSpot is a comprehensive CRM platform that offers marketing, sales, customer service tools, helping businesses streamline processes and enhance customer relationship. You'll be agree with me that a company without sales and marketing effectively running is already going towards failure. Slack, a communication tool that facilitates team collaboration, enabling real-time messaging, file sharing, and integration with other tools to improve workflow efficiency. Zapier is an automation tool that connects various applications, allowing businesses to automate repetitive tasks and improve productivity by integrating workflows across different platforms. Let's just look at the practical steps to apply digital transformation. At the end of the day, our man has the greatest capacity to use AI because AI cannot operate on its own, and also any digital tool cannot operate on its own without the use of the mind of a man. So first of all, you have to assess your current processes. Are your current processes still in line with traditional methods? You have to know where you are for you to know where you are going. That's the first thing. So assess your digital maturity. Define the digital tactics you already have in place. Are you just using social media currently to be able to manage your customers? What else can you do? Envision your future. You have to create a vision of what you want for your company because you cannot get anything you cannot conceive. Then you have to build a strategy. That's where the research team should be integrated into your system, where you investigate available technologies and solutions that are necessary and for the vision you have in mind. Then you implement one by one, decide what to build, which tools to buy, and what to outsource. Then you repeat the process because in the process of doing this, you are taking risks and some will fail, some will succeed. Eventually, the greatest mistake you can make is not to even take the risk in the first place. So let's talk about the challenges and solutions. To keep up with digital transformation, one of the challenges that you are keeping up with rapid technological changes. Changes happen in the technology space very rapidly. But how do we do that? There should be an inherent research team that stays informed and continuously educates the management of the company or management of you yourself and the team to follow industry trends, attend tech conferences and engage with digital communities. Another challenge is of course security concerns. Invest in robust cyber security measures. and ensure compliance with data protection regulations to safeguard your business and customer information. You can go online, the data protection regulations is available. We have to go through it and understand the intricacies, the implication of going against data protection. So, and we have to invest in robust cyber security measures. Now, another thing is the challenge is balancing innovation with practicality, because you have to compare the reality and the innovation itself. How you go about it is use a phased approach to implement new technologies. You do it phase by phase. Start with pilot projects to test their effectiveness before full-scale adoption. But we need to apply proper communication. Clearly explain the benefits of this digital transformation to your team members. Also, there should be inculcated trainings so that we provide resources and trainings to ease this transition. Then start from where you are, start small. Implement changes gradually to build confidence and momentum. Don't do it all at once.
Hi, Success. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, so we didn't know that. This is the last part of it, right?
Yes, actually the last page.
All right. So let's get on with it so we can.
Sorry if I took much of your time.
It was an interesting one, but carry on.
So, key takeaways: digital transformation is essential for startups to strive in a competitive landscape. The journey involves embracing technology, fostering a digital culture, and adapting to change. So let's reflect on these stories and see how we can adapt and innovate. After all, we have to embrace transformation for our business to expand. Thank you very much. This is all about my slide.
Thank you so much, Success. Thank you for that one. And earlier on, before I give the baton to Success to carry on with, I totally forgot to introduce myself. All right, so if you're just joining us, you are welcome. And this is Business Day Television's Millennial Hangout. And the theme for this month's edition is Digital Transformation and Startups for Millennials. I am Kemi Michael, but you can call me Akemi Niobong Michael. It depends. If you can't pronounce whichever one it is you can pronounce, you can go with it. And of course, we're moving on to our next speaker, and that is Babajide. Babajide, are you with us?
Yeah,
Hello?
definitely. Thank you very much, Kemi.
All right, your video, could you put it on?
Okay. All right.
All right, 10 minutes. Thank you.
All right. So, thank you very much once again for this platform. I remember Babajide Aribashola. So I'm not going to be doing a screen sharing, but I will just give a general overview on what the topic is about. And once again, thank you very much for the previous speaker. That was very, very insightful. So basically, we're talking about digital transformation, and in summary, how our millennials, we're talking about ages between 23 to 38, something like around that, can benefit from this. So the first thing we need to understand is we're just looking for a way to move or drift away from traditional mechanisms or operations or modus operandi, and do something more digitized, more seamless, make things easier. And the idea is understanding what digital transformation is about. And in summary, it's just the integration of digital technology into all areas of businesses, fundamentally changing how businesses operate and deliver value to customers. And the millennials stand to be, should I say, pivotal beneficiary of this particular transformation in, apart from businesses, even the way we do domestic chores, anything at all. It is very, very pivotal. Now, digital transformation is not even just an option. It is now a necessity in today's world. And we need to understand, why do we even need digital transformation in key areas of our life? We need to have a digital first world mindset. Now, today, technology is the backbone of any startup, whether in retail, finance, healthcare. Digital transformation allows startups to reach wider audiences, operate more efficiently, and scale faster. Okay, for example, Airbnb, like she mentioned earlier, disrupted the hospitality industry by leveraging digital platforms to connect people directly with hosts. They did this without owning a physical property, but built a multi-billion-dollar business entirely online. Now, the idea is, as opposed to the traditional methods of doing things or carrying out business activities, we now have an opportunity to make things easier, seamless, to make or to reach a wider range of beneficiaries as a result of digitization. Think about how a traditional business, say a local clothing store, can shift online to access not just local customers, but a global market using tools like Shopify, Instagram, our very own Instagram, digital payment platforms, etc. So the idea is we are no longer limited, maybe as a result of geographical barriers, as a result of language, we now have an opportunity to give varying people with diverse backgrounds, diverse beliefs, diverse orientation access to whatever it is we want to sell, whatever it is we want to market. So another thing is we need to also be very sensitive to the tools and technologies driving digital transformation. But look, like she said earlier, cloud computing. This is actually something or a product that provides access to scalable resources. I'm talking about storage servers without the need for costly infrastructure. That particular point is very key. Even the very own Zoom platform we use at YouTube actually started from just on videos, and now on this platform we are able to do more than just upload videos. We're having live sessions, etc., etc. So we're also talking about tools like big data and analytics. Like, data is the new gold. We all know that. In fact, people need data, analyze it to be able to make informed decisions. I'm talking about decisions that span up to 5 years ahead, 12 years ahead, 10 years ahead. So data, like startups can use data to understand customer preferences, forecast trends, and make informed decisions. I would give you a personal example. I noticed anytime I go on Google, I'm sure a lot of us have experienced this, and I search something. For example, if you're using maybe a Google product and you search something on the Google search engine, ads will be custom based to you either through your phones or laptops on the basis of what you search for. So it's more of like giving them the advantage to understand, my preferences in terms of how they can market this to me. And if organizations continue to do this on the basis of digital transformation, we would see a high influx of revenue generation, profit margin, jobs would increase, and all that. So another thing is artificial intelligence, and I give credit to the previous speaker. She mentioned this as well. From chatbots to automation, AI is helping startups provide better customer service, streamline operations, and personalize user experience. For example, Spotify. I use Spotify. It uses AI to recommend songs and playlists based on user behavior. I'm sure a lot of us, maybe at some point, maybe we have a music app on our phones. For example, you search or you type in a song. The next song, you don't have to wait to actually type in manually. Something is custom based and it gives you that direction. This is on the basis of relevant data collected that would help streamline to your preference, customer first ideology. So a small startup can leverage AI tools to create tailored experiences for their customers, improving retention. Now, another thing I would just like to chip in before I have 10 minutes is how millennials are disrupting industries with digital transformation. Like I said, the summary of digitization is basically going away or doing away with, not totally, but the relevant parts, things that have been giving us, should I say, hindrances in terms of operations, and moving to a platform or an avenue where you can do things easily in larger quantity in a way that we've never even fathomed before. And this is us generating new business models. Now, millennials are not just improving existing models. We are creating, or they are creating, new ones. Example, fintech startups like Chime and Monzo, I don't know if you know them, have disrupted traditional banking by providing fully digital services with lower fees and more convenience. These startups cater directly to millennials who prefer managing finances via smartphones rather than walking into a bank. And one thing about this is, when one organization does this or drift towards this side, organization in the same industry follow suit. I remember the banking industry. We know that, it was one bank that took the liberty of, you know what, let us digitize withdrawals and payments with, okay, ATMs. And after that, there was more of like an isomorphism where everyone followed suit. And as a result, the withdrawal process has become seamless. If we had said, oh, you know what, we want to do away with digitization, okay, let's just stick to our traditional methods, you're going to be having long queues. I remember, okay, when I wanted to have breakfast today, I actually I paid via my mobile banking app. And if we were in the traditional setting, I would have to queue before I get money, before I then go to the place and queue again before I get to the cashier to pay for food and all that. But now everything can actually be done as a result of digitization in the comfort of my room. Normally, I would say this, normally, if we were to do this with business day, we would have to, you know, go to a physical location and, you know, have to do this, make up here and there, all that. But now we can actually do this in the comfort of our rooms or our homes without having to move a muscle. I just have my computer system, as you can see here, and you're the host, and you're seeing that. So another thing is I also focus on the challenges millennials face in digital transformation. Okay, cybersecurity. Again, I give credit to the previous speaker. Cybersecurity is actually a very big concern, and as she mentioned, she talked about you know, there are regulations and all that. Like, as businesses become more digital, the risk of cyber attacks grow, and startups need to prioritize protecting customer data and intellectual property. It is very key and fundamental. As much as, okay, yes, it's good and the gospel of moving to a more digitized platform to make things easier, it is also very important that we are not distracted by the ease of things and we still maintain relevant procedures, ethical procedures when it comes to safeguarding and information. So, you know, like a new e-commerce platform experiences a data breach, compromising customer information. By investing in cybersecurity tools and best practices early on, this risk could be mitigated. So this is me just trying to say that it is important to have a digitized platform. However, it is also very important that we keep abreast things or measures to mitigate any breach that can lead to, okay, a lot of escalations or fatalities. And okay, to just sum this up, or I'm getting closer to my endpoint, we need to also look at the opportunities for startups in the digital economy. We're not just, okay, yes, gathering here to just talk about a thing. Let's look at these opportunities. Like, for example, as a result of digitization, gig economy and freelancing has become easier. Like, millennials are driving the gig economy. Startups can tap into this by creating platforms that connect freelancers with businesses. I can list a lot of examples. For example, Upwork and yeah, I think Fiverr have revolutionized the way freelance work is done. You know, they offer flexibility and empowering freelancers to work with companies across the globe. And one major advantage digitization has done is breaking the physical barrier or global physical barriers. Now, I have worked on a project in US. I've worked on a project in France, and I did not have to travel there. But as a result of a digitalized platform, I had a team. We worked on a project. We executed it fully, and it was successful. These are some of the perks. These are some of the advantages digitalization has actually brought to us, even as the millennials in this generation. Another thing is remote work as a catalyst for growth. Now, the traditional method was you come to work, do your 9 to 5 or whatever it is you're doing. You have to actually be at work. They have to see you physically at work, XYZ. Now, it is now easy to work from a far distance remotely, or remote work as we call it, than before. Now, digital transformation has made remote work a viable option for startups, reducing overhead costs and accessing global talents. Now, a lot of people are always thinking, it's only the workers or the staff members that stand to be beneficiaries of remote work. No, I've worked in an organization where the running cost reduced drastically. You know, you have to, you know how the situation of our country is with power supply. Now you have to have backup generating sets, XYZ. These things, as much as you can say they are easy to get, they are still adding to the cost of any organization. Now, for a hybrid work model or a remote work model, you don't have to have or worry yourself about that as an entrepreneur or a business owner. Your guys are working remotely. All you need to do is make sure they have internet access, and they are good to go. That reduces the cost, the general overall running cost for the company. For example, Buffer, a social media management startup, operates 100% remotely. I know that. They use tools like Slack, Zoom, and Asana to manage a global team, providing that startups can thrive without a physical office. We are having like 10, 50, 20 years ago, if we were to do this with Business Day, we'll be doing this in a physical setting, in a structure. But now we are doing this seamlessly without having to move a muscle. So, okay, before I conclude, I would like to talk about funding in the age of digital transformation. This is also a very,
Is it
important
possible?
aspect.
Is it possible to hold that thought so that you will get into it? In fact, because I have a particular question about that, so probably you would use that to answer that question.
Okay, no problem, no problem.
All
Then
right, we're going to move to you, Philip. But before that, I would like to mention that AITI will be coming up right after Philip, and Philip has 10 minutes. So in 10 minutes' time, I'll be expecting AITI to, join us because I know he's on the road. So.
Okay.
So Philip, are you ready? 10 minutes.
Yes. Thank you so much. It's once again, it's a pleasure to be here. Jide and Success have said everything, so I'm trying to, pick. Okay, where do I have to pick from to speak on this, right? But one thing we must all understand is we must all know that we are in an era where technology is rapidly shaping how we live, how we think, how business operation runs, right? It's no longer as usual as in the past. One thing we should also understand as millennials, we are called we are called entrepreneurial generations. Why is that? Because we are now unafraid to disrupt the status quo. Like we see challenges, we try to innovate, create solutions for such problems. Jide has mentioned about the traditional banks previously and what if you had to try to innovate. Going currently right now, you will look at pandemic has actually given every business venture to think outside the box. How do you want to innovate? How do you want to grow your businesses? For example, we have a lot of digital banks springing up. You don't need to be physical at the bank to open an account. With your mobile device, you can actually open an account, transact, transfer. So it's more like telling you that in the digital age, we millennials have the opportunity because we are in it, we live with it, and it's now like we must try to see, okay, how do you leverage on it? Success said something about AI transformation, how it has been able to revolve how businesses think. For example, you are trying to purchase an item on an e-commerce platform and you did not check out right. Automatically, within a day or two, you get an email telling you about your cart abandonment, right? You've abandoned, you were trying to make this purchase, right? It's trying to send you a reminder. Compared to previously, in previous years, you go to the market, you try to bargain a price, you can't, you have to go back home. But now with with your mobile devices, you can go on an e-commerce or even on Instagram or WhatsApp, right? You can make a purchase and you're unable to check out. And after a few days, you get a reminder that, hey, you were trying to purchase this. Do you need a helping hand to close this, right? So why is this happening? Because it's a digital age. We have digital tools that now try to help you make life very, very easy for you. And for me to just close this, is digital transformation. It's not a distant future. It's happening now. As millennials, we must be in the forefront of the wave. We have tools, creativity, and determination, to build the next generation African unicorn. And we have various opportunities. There are various ways to get funding to improve and innovate. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much for that one, Philip. I'm hoping that AITI is ready. Hi, Queen Claire.
Yes, AITI will be joining shortly. He's just trying to join in now.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
All right, that's no problem then. So while we wait, I would like to mention that this is, I hadn't mentioned it earlier. I did just mention a little bit of it. But this is Business Day's Millennial Hangout. And if you're just joining us, you are welcome. If you have any questions, you can put it in the chat box. All right, you can put it in the chat box. We're live right now on Business Day TV. That is Business Day's television channel on YouTube. Digital transformation, you see that? And so you can join in from wherever you are virtually, as well as even if you're physically somewhere, you can actually still, gather friends together and join virtually as well, because we're coming to you from our office, but still you can reach us from anywhere, which is beautiful. That's exactly the beauty of digital transformation. And I'm happy, I'm enjoying it right now, really. I'm quite sure my speakers are enjoying it too, because they didn't have to leave their house and come all the way down to where I am for this event. But all they had to do was, I'm sure there's some people that are lying down on the bed now, that are just sitting down on the bed. But anyway, AJ, are you with us now? Okay, I can see you, but I cannot hear you.
Oh, now is it better? Can you hear me now?
Yes, great. All right, so if you've got any presentation or you just have, something to say about digital transformation, the theme and topic for this month, let's hear you.
Again, I totally apologize for coming in late and shuffling between a couple of different meetings. Well, thank you so much for the opportunity to talk about this topic. This topic is something that is very, very, very important, essential to me. I think fundamentally because the technology industry is also evolving, especially on the continent. I was doing a research yesterday, and then I realized that only about 10%, 8 to 10% of the entire value creation industry, on this continent is digitalized. And think about it, just 10% of the entire value creation industry, from education to financial sector to fast, moving consumer goods industry, FMCG. Only just about 10% of this entire industry is digitalized. And what that tells myself and you is with more investment in digital transformation, for the startup ecosystem and for the traditional ecosystem, we can then capture maybe another 90%, which I think it's literally impossible to digitalize everything. But we can capture more value if we digitalize, value creation. And value creation, I mean how the organizations capture value and how the organizations deliver value, to customers and clients. Let me start by some sort of like thinking about what is the role of millennials. I'm very excited about this. I'm not Gen Z, so I've got the authority to speak as a millennial. And I'll let the Gen Zs listen to me. You better listen if you're Gen Z. Because your
All you have to do is call my name. I understand that I'm a Gen Z. All you have to do is call my name.
Yeah, your elder brother is about to teach you now.
Carry on, elder brother.
I've earned the right to talk. Okay, so yes. What's the role of millennials? I want to keep this very simple. First for me is when you think about millennials, we are digitally native generation. We are raised in an era where technology started to achieve what is termed, at least in Africa, rapid technology evolution. It was so rapid, at the time that it's either you were plugging in, or you're caught up, right? We are those that are terms as naturally tuned to digital trends, right? Because our generation drove the transformation. There was a generation that kickstarted it, right? Which is a generation that is much more older than our generation. Then came my generation, which our responsibility was to then build evolution or build fast pace into, what the older generation had built. So I'll give you a very interesting example. The older generation was built, the very archaic, traditional, systems around shortlet booking, right? Every hotel had a website where you could book, right? Book a stay, right? But then a generation then came that then introduced, Airbnb, Uber, Instagram, most of these products were started by millennials. And what was unique about that, or this product that I've just talked about, is the new pattern of thinking that some sort of like say, hey, we have to build things around ecosystems, build things around communities, without even use technology to transform hospitality, transportation, media, education, yada, yada, yada. Right? Now, for those who are asking, what do I really mean by digital transformation? It is very simple. It simply means integrating digital technologies into businesses or into several areas of businesses that fundamentally changes how this business deliver value. I'll give you a very interesting example. When I started Utiva, for example, many of our training programs were physical training programs, right? We were marketing online. So we're capturing value, digitally, but we were not delivering the value to the customers digitally. And many of the students somewhat like enjoyed the physical presence, right? Because physical presence is quite very traditional in terms of, the way we learn. And many of them enjoyed it because it helped them to then have communities, be able to interact directly with the trainers. But the challenge with that experience, as much as it was a good experience, the challenge with that experience that it wasn't scalable, number one. And then it was very difficult to also measure performance, measure, how students are learning and some other extra things, and maybe also upsell them, But then when COVID started in 2020, we were compelled, right? So that digital transformation that happened for Utiva, right, in 2020 was as a result of an external compulsion. Now, what that means is that digital transformation can then be a product of internal innovation, right? Which is good if you're smart enough to innovate internally, or external compulsion. The value of innovating internally is that you then create the trend, right? You set the pace, right? And that's the value of innovating internally. You set the pace, and that might make you a market leader. But for external compulsion, because you then exist within an ecosystem, you're not the only one that is externally compelled. Other businesses, other companies within your ecosystem are all facing the same compulsion, right? And then that creates some sort of like, blue ocean, a sort of red ocean. It then means that you don't have any added or unique value advantage, right? So think about digital transformation as, hey, I'm just bringing digital innovation, digital technology into several areas of the business. And, someone talked about Netflix, and what Netflix did wasn't really new because there was already DVD rental service, which was already even happening globally, right? And I'm sure many millennials will then understand that many of us downloaded music online, before the era of Netflix. We downloaded movies online without outside the era of Netflix. When you think about what Netflix brought into the system, it wasn't necessarily the technology. And that's one of the things I came into this session to tell you, that every time we think about digital transformation, we are not just saying the technology, right? The technology is useless without the new business model. So there are three things you need to innovate. The first, or innovate around. You need to innovate around the technology, of course, right? The second thing is the business model. The business model also needs to be, need to experience some type of innovation. But the third one, which I think is the most important, is the sharing formula. You see, digital transformation is not complete without building communities, right? Sharing around what you're building. And that's where the millennial generation then connected the Gen Z generation, because the millennial generation Traditionally, in terms of business model, is not wired to think sharing. But the Gen Z generation, in terms of, because they had already solved for technology, business model, is then for them, it's what is important is what I have, can I then share with other people? But beyond just sharing with other people is also sharing for them to get value, right? Sharing for them to get value. Because this is a social media, social sharing generation, right? So I will then, because I know that time is gone. So why is digital transformation important for startups? Because for me, I am in the startup ecosystem, and I want to talk about startups. Number one is the mindset that guides digital transformation is continuous innovation. Innovation is not a one-off thing, right? So when you think about fintechs like, the Revoluts of this world, the Stripes of this world, those are the guys building digital infrastructures, right? What gives these guys the edge? It's no longer the first mover advantage. It's no longer the value of the technology they built, but it is the continuous innovation that meets the demand, right, of the markets. Just yesterday, I was looking at Stripe, and then I realized that Stripe has launched what is called the Stripe Capital. Stripe is a digital infrastructure for payments, for collecting payments. But then they've scaled it beyond just collecting payments to, offering capital to services and companies that are using their platform. And that for me is transforming, evolving. But this time they're not evolving by just adding or building one extra technology. No. They are evolving by, changing, altering, or building an evolution around their business model, right? So the mindset that drives digital transformation is not the mindset of, let's go build another technology to do X. No. The mindset is always about how do we offer, value to the customers that we have, and how do we use technology to then drive that and scale. So when you think of platforms like Shopify, which pretty much is a platform for online businesses, by the time you dig deeper, the reason Shopify is what they are, number one, we give credit to them for building a technology, but beyond building the technology is then innovating around what the customers actually want, and what is cool to the customers, what is interesting, what solves the pain points of the customers. Finally, as I hand over to you, what have been the new technologies that will drive digital transformation in the future? That's where, sometimes I want to take a step back, because I don't want you to then leave this call thinking, this is going to be less of technology and more of business model and sharing, formula. There will still be technology changing a lot of things in the future. Number one will be the role of artificial intelligence. And I'm compelled to tell you, this is the bad news. You cannot survive the future without artificial intelligence. It is just going to be impossible. Forget about those who have lied to you, telling you, soft skills were more important than AI. That, for me, is really a big lie. There is nothing humans can do that AI will not be able to do better and faster. All these things around, AI cannot lead people. Anyway, when you then get into the future, you will then see if AI can lead people or if AI cannot lead people. I hear people say things like, AI cannot be emotionally intelligent, right? You can play the game. Tell your friend what you're going through and let your friend console you. Tell ChatGPT what you're going through and tell ChatGPT to console you. Ask yourself, who does the better job? Is it your friend or ChatGPT? Be honest with yourself. Who will do a better job? And this is ChatGPT. We're not talking about the Google Gemini, for me, which is much more advanced than ChatGPT. And I think we have not even started. The whole concept of generative AI started just last year. Although it's been around for a very long time, but we started embracing it last year. So think about what will then happen in the next 10 years. It will be so much part of us. Generative AI will be in your car, it will be in your homes, it will be on your laptop, it will be in your coffee shop. You will do everything with AI. So one of the things that we should then begin to think about, if you want to be, ahead of the curve, is to start to think about things like, what will ChatGPT do? What will AI do in our business, in our industry? How will blockchain technology disrupt my industry? How will it disrupt your industry? Internet of Things, which is already happening today. I was talking to a group of people about parenting. and Internet of Things, how we're going to change things, So your job as someone that will really want to lead digital transformation is to then begin to think about AI-driven chatbots to handle customer services, to help startups scale faster, reducing the need of large customer support. How do we use generative AI to really drive that at scale? So as I close this session, for me, fundamentally, is four things. Number one is digital transformation is beyond just embedding technology and building technology. The mindset that drives digital transformation is like a triangle. At the top of the triangle is, of course, introducing digital technology. But at the base of the triangle is number one, right? The sharing formula, right? And then number two is innovating the business model, right? And every industry has to do that. The second that I've also then covered is there is certainly, the need for us to then begin to think about, the future of technology, right? If we are going to outcompete in the future from the digital transformations mindset, which is number one, what will AI do? Number two, what will blockchain technology do? Number three, cloud computing. It talks about Internet of Things, right? How will it disrupt the future, right? And the future of what we are arriving into. But finally, I said that these transformations that we are saying will be a result of two things. Number one, it's either you're compelled by external forces to transform. And I think many businesses will be compelled by external forces to transform, and that's not a smart way to grow, right? I mean, I was there several times. Researchers told me to build learning solutions 2018, 2019, 2020. But I kept arguing with researchers saying, nobody can learn data science online. You have to be in the class physically to talk to the trainer. Someone sent me a message on Instagram and said, I want to learn data science. Can I learn it online? I couldn't see how you would train someone on Python online, and COVID happened. I was compelled to build, a learning management solution. So you might be compelled by external forces. So that you wake up one day and then you realize that you are a career coach, but AI is doing it better than you, right? You are a therapist, but AI is doing it better than you. But over the years, someone has told you several times that, hey, you're a career coach, you are this, you are that. See, transform. But you kept arguing that your job cannot be taken over by technology, but the technology came and disrupted. So it could be as a result of external compulsion, or it could be as a result of internal innovation. And finally, I mentioned, as I round up, I mentioned that, continuous innovation is what may then give you that unique advantage, because that innovation is not just about building technology, it's about studying the market and understanding what would customers want and being really bold enough to build that into the product. Thank you. I'll stop talking here.
All right. Thank you very much for that one, Eitayo. And that was a beautiful one, as he decided to call himself Ella Brother. Thank you so much for that particular one. I feel like at this point, there's really no need to continue because every single thing that my speakers have mentioned and said, very eye-opening. And of course, I think we can just wrap up and go. We can wrap up and go and start implementing everything that we have learned today. But I have my questions, and I'm quite sure that the people listening as well, you out there have your questions for my speakers. So if you're live right now, all you have to do is into the live chat, send in your questions. And if you want a particular speaker to answer that question, you can write their names as well. All right, go ahead and ask those questions. But first, I would have to start with mine. And I would like to start with success, right? During your presentation, you mentioned something. You mentioned defining digital lapses. And here's the thing with, as a Gen Z, I might not have that said problem, but I believe that millennials might have that problem when it comes to, knowing where exactly they have a digital lapse. How exactly do you define digital lapses in your business? Let's use the health industry or the health sector as an example. As a millennial, how do I define a lapse in that part?
All right. Thanks so much for that question. Using the health sector as an example, you agree with me that in many years ago, which is not in a distant future ago, we had hospitals all over the place that you can just enter into anyone that maybe is closest to you, and maybe your friend told you that this hospital is good in this aspect, and you said, okay, this is the hospital I'll go to, and you go there, and you don't really have any retainership program there. You have to register there. They have files, open a file for you because they don't have your medical history, and that is how you start up with them, and they do all sorts of tests, and that's how you start up with them. But now the introduction of HMOs have made it seamless. Most corporate organizations have retainership programs, and under the health management organizations, where you're not limited to a particular hospital. You can go to anyone that's, of course, we have several HMOs, like Mansard, Avon, IGEA. I just started this business, but new HMOs have come and kind of improved on how I just started.
Can we call them
Like
Gen Z HMOs?
Yeah, Gen Z HMOs, like even going into telemedicine, where you have a consultant speak to you on phone. You don't have to travel all the way down and be stressed when you are already not feeling okay, and you are not going to go and queue up to be answered by a doctor. So you have telemedicine now, and you can be attended to, and your problems can be solved online now. So whoever started this procedure must have identified the fact that even many people are falling down and dying in the name of you want to see a doctor, because it's still a traditional process of seeing a doctor. You just need someone to talk to you, and sometimes that period is enough to suit you and make you relieve. So the health system needs to identify that customer experience is everything, is the center of what you need to do. Like, you need to look at how to invest in apps, invest in the technology that will tailor your customer experience, tailor it towards a faster way. Once you can solve the problems of customers in a faster way, you have already won their heart. So that's just an example.
All right, thank you very, very much for that one. I have more questions on that, but still looking at the health sector, right? There are several times that you'd go into the hospital with probably a stab wound or a bullet wound, and you would not be treated because they would need what's it called, a certificate or like a report. More like, you'd actually need a report to give to their doctor or nurses. Is there a possibility that that is a lapse in itself? Because having to go and get a report to make sure you get to the hospital and get treated for these things, do you feel like that's a lapse? And if that is a lapse, how exactly can digital transformation help with that?
Okay, I actually will be surprised to see a 21st century hospital allow a patient to go through that kind of stress. I expect that a hospital that is embracing digital, it's already a lapse, as you said. You're asking if it's a lapse. It's a lapse because you mentioned the wound is already obvious. Why wait for a certificate? That person, might lose the customer forever because he's already in pain and he has shown you something. So, and you can see it physically on the body. So what you need to do is, first of all, ensure that there are people in place that are not going to that are going to attend to you, and that now let them attend to you first. Then that asking question on maybe background history and registration with the hospital, and you even win that patient. He might even have to leave where he has been used to this new hospital because you changed the game for the patient and you attended to him first. Because digital tools does not require that you leave the humane part of your business. You need to embrace the humane part of your business, even in applying digital tools.
All right, thank you very much. And I'll move to you, Babajide. You mentioned you had parts of funding, but I'd like to ask this question, right? We talk about putting your businesses, making it go digital or digitalizing your business and all of that. But here's the thing, there's one fear that millennials have, and that is the fear of funding. Where am I going to get the funds? Because it's easy to say that, oh, my company, my startup is on Slack. But Slack is being paid for, right? Slack is not free, is it? Or is there a free Slack that I don't know about? But these things are not free, right? So how exactly can a startup, especially one that is, will I say, a sole proprietor kind of business that's just starting, how exactly would they do and navigate when it comes to funding?
Okay, thank you very much, Kemi. When it comes to funding, this does not even have to do with digitization. Basically, normal you trying to venture into any business, you need funds. And there are several opportunities, there are several options you can pick from. You can look at bootstrapping, basically using your own funds, reinvesting profits back into the business. You can look at friends and family. Yes, I know people, friends, peers that got capital to start their businesses as a result of support they got from fathers, mothers, cousins, XYZ. You can also look at angel investors. We're talking about wealthy individuals who provide capital in exchange for equity or convertible debt, often bringing valuable mentorship. For that, you need to be able to prove through a proper business presentation that, okay, yes, this thing has the potential of yielding profit. And you can also look at, okay, venture capital. Now, we're talking about investment firms providing large sums of money in exchange for equity as well. Now, this is just firm-centered or the organization-centered, typically in large-stage startups with high growth potential. So for venture capital and angel investors, you need to be able to do the first thing, which is present your business idea in a way to potential investors who look like something actually profitable. And you can also look at crowdfunding. I see this a lot in this era. Gen Zs and millennials do this one. So raising small amounts of capital from a large number of people, typically through online platforms like Kickstarter, for example, is a good one, Indiegogo or GoFundMe. You can also look at bank loans. Permit me to say this is the most traditional method. Do you understand? And this is basically you using traditional loans from banks where the startup pays the principal amount with interest over time. That helps. And a lot of big organizations that you see today have actually grown as a result of taking loans from banks, healthy loans from banks. And you can also look at government grants and subsidies. I don't want to exhaust my time. Basically, you can also look at accelerators and incubators, programs that provide startups with seed funding, mentorship, and even resources in exchange for equity. Startups often participate in a time-limited program in this sort. And I think the list is endless. I don't want to exhaust my time. And you can pick from these options the one that suits you. However, the one advice I would always like to tell you, before thinking about capital, think of a business plan that can yield something profitable. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you so much for that one, and thank you for keeping it short and simple. That's beautiful. And I'll move to you, Philip. Now, there is one thing that, well, generally, millennials, I think it's a thing for millennials, because for we Gen Zs, we don't have a problem with that, right? For millennials, you have a problem with fear of the unknown. Now, as a millennial that is trying to merge your business and make it more digital, how exactly can you go about facing that fear of the unknown? I mean, I might have had a lot of customers already, clients, and I don't want to lose my clients. And you're telling me to digitize my product. What if my clients like my product the way it is right now? What if they like it the traditional way? How exactly can I overcome that fear as a millennial? Hi, Philip.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Loud and clear.
All right. So first of all, for every business, you have to continually innovate, right? As much as you're scared about the fear of the unknown, right? But you must not always. It's actually good to have that concern about fear of the unknown. but you must always ensure that you don't get too comfortable. Always try and look for ways to improve the business. One thing is always stay customer centric. You know your consumer base. You know what's your niche you're trying to create. You know the solutions, because for every startup and there's a problem you're trying to solve. It's very, very important for you as a startup. You know there's a problem you're trying to solve. So what are your target audience? What do they do? What do they want? You'll be able to know, okay, segment them, okay, based on their buyer persona or whatever, trying to know, okay, these are my target audience, these are what they want, and you see how you can tailor their needs to help them. Because if you don't understand your consumers, it becomes a problem. And it's also focus on agility, right? You must learn to be very, very flexible. For example, there's some, let's say, there's some customers that would want you to offer them cash on delivery. They want to buy a product, but they are not, the trust is not there, right? Then they want, okay, can you bring the item before I pay, right? So you should be able to be flexible to offer cash on delivery for those. There's also some consumers who are okay with paying before deliveries. So when you have those options, okay, for every consumer base you have, you're able to capture them. You're able to offer them that business support, which your business can offer them. Thanks.
All right. Now, thank you so much for that. But before I move to Eitayo, right? You mentioned that you have to know. Now, here's the thing with being customer centric and, well, knowing your customers. Let's say you've gotten feedback from your customers and they're telling you that, oh, I like the way this works. Let's see, which industry can I use? Say, for example, catering. The catering industry, right? And your customers know that once they call you up like this, you're going to come through for them. All right? They don't want, you already know this. They have told you this, that, oh, I like the fact that all I have to do is put a call through and I can reach you. Now, how exactly are you going to deal with that, knowing that you want to fully integrate into the digital world? You want to make your organization more digitized. You want to become one of the child decks, right? Rather child box and all of that. You want to become one of those delivery services that all people have to do is, go on their phones and order. And apart from that, your customer base might not even be the ones with phones or Android phones that can do that. How exactly can you move past that as a millennial?
Okay, so one thing for sure is every tendency you might not be able to move every of your customer base to the digital aspect of it, right? So, but for your ability to create that room, create that availability. For example, for on-demand services, you have to download the app, right?
Mm-hmm.
Make a request for it, right? But you also have a customer service number there that you can also call. You've been able to create that opportunity for them to also call, and your customer service agent is able to also support them to create whatever request they want to create. Because they know, okay, if I don't have this app, I don't have time. Like, I will use my mom, for example. I know how more I try to, she wants to buy, so I say, download the app now. Say, can I say, call them? So once she calls and she tells them, okay, this is what I want, you can see that you're able to support them because they called in. You're able to help them. And for example, you're trying to buy a phone case. Your customer service agent can also try and also do some cross-selling for them because they have actually called in. So you are able to create, in as much as, yes, you want to move everyone to create this, go digitally, right? But you also have to see how you can create a niche for them that they can actually call. And with time, gradually, you are able to move them to that place where you want all your consumers to be.
All right. That is beautiful. Beautifully put. So more like if my customer base has a problem, even when I want to digitize, I should make sure that whatever solution I'm bringing up also fits them.
Exactly.
All right, that's great. But what
Yeah,
if?
Okay, go ahead.
What if making it suit them and digitizing it at the same time might cause a rift? You know what? Sometimes they're like clashes. How exactly will I go about that?
So I was reading yesterday in the news. I think in news outlets, ITV, and we had pensioners and the old generations complaining about you don't have if you don't just cash only. I mean, sorry, card only. So they tend up they cannot go to this shopping or supermarket because it's stated they're cash only. You're losing just customers. You're definitely losing them, right? But what you can actually do is, in my idea and thought, is you would create such avenues for both cash and card only, right?
Okay.
But you can also put in a way whereby you're using your card, you're putting an incentive to them, giving a 10% discount on your next purchase. You're putting that display there. Use your card and get a 5% voucher on your next purchase. In that way, you're trying now to indirectly move those consumers who are not trying to move into that aspect. Oh, if I use my cash, so if I use my card, I can get a voucher. Oh, okay. Then you see them being asking those questions. Okay, how do I do this? Right? Because if you don't try to move them, they will actually they will actually want to be on that same sector of cash only. Like they wouldn't want to move because you're trying to digitalize your business, right? But if you just have to see how you can disrupt them and move them gradually. It might not actually be might not just be a smooth ride, because definitely you would definitely have detractors, right? You see the detractors in that case. But the point is getting constant feedback, trying to tell them, educate them the importance of what you're trying to do, sell value to them. Once they get that value, definitely they will move.
All right, thank you. Thank you so much for that. And I'm moving now to Eitayo. Now, Eitayo, during your presentation, right, you did mention something that stuck. You mentioned continuous innovation. And I have this question, right? Because if you look at it, there's this saying that nothing is original right now. Whatever original quote unquote idea that you have had or that you have is not original, because a lot of other people must have had that idea already. Now, how exactly, as a millennial that is, an innovator or a creator, how can you balance this? How can you balance being creative at the same time, the fear of, will I call it plagiarism in this case?
Yeah. So the first thing I want to emphasize is the power of execution. As much as people say there are no new ideas, there are no new innovation, it looks like we are all building on something that already exists. Executing really well gives you that unique, advantage or that edge. And this is why, if you're building a product and it looks like it's not a unique idea, every other person is doing the same thing, or every other person would do the same thing because it's a trend. When you execute well and you execute fast, number one, you get to market faster. You get market intelligence, right, from the users and the consumers, the clients, those that are using the product. And then you then innovate the desire, the needs, the requirements of the customers into the products faster than your competitors and faster than any other person, and that gives you an edge. That gives you the innovation that you're looking for. So innovation in itself is not the products, right? Innovation in itself is the complete deployment of the solution into the market such that it gets the attention of the users. Philip said something that is quite very instructive, and I want to double click on that. But I think that is innovation in itself. If you exist in an industry where people are very traditional and they don't want to move into using a digital product, right? The innovation then is no longer the practice. The innovation then is now your ability to move into the market with a product and incentivize the customers to use the product. So that's the innovation. It's not, you see, we've already established that in this industry, people are very traditional, right? Nobody wants to use a digital technology product. I'll give you an example of that type of industry. The B2G procurement industry, in Nigeria, the business to government procurement industry in Nigeria is very traditional. People would ask you to submit proposals traditionally. If you are trying to innovate in that industry, the permanent secretaries will fight you because these are old chaps that are super brilliant. They know their thing in and out. They've been in that space for an average of 30 years, right? And they can tell you authoritatively that the better way to review the proposal would be to get the proposal submitted to their office so that they can, dot the I's, and cross-check every little thing. How do you then innovate in that type of industry? So the innovation is not the technology that you're introducing to that space. The innovation is, can you then incentivize them, right, to use that product? Would there be a letter from the president saying, or if you then begin to use this solution as a permanent secretary, for 1 year, there would be an increase, 10% increase in your bonus, right? So we need to stop to think about innovation as the product alone. The innovation could be that you're able to get unique insight into how the customers would like to download that type of thing. Because not every customer wants to go to App Store. The customer might just be interested in going to your website and clicking on the link because traditionally that has been the path to reaching you. It could be that they don't want to go and search your name on App Store. They just want you to send it to them on WhatsApp. I'll give I know I don't have a lot of time, but I know a friend that reached 1 million users through WhatsApp link, on download by just saying it, because she already had customers on WhatsApp. They are used to WhatsApp. Oh, Babajide is here. So we also reached out to our customers yesterday. We were trying to reach them. We're trying to send them emails. We sent them bulk SMS, but they were not responding. We had to go to their WhatsApp. So the innovation is not in the technology. The innovation, that's why I gave the example of the triangle. The innovation could be the business model that you deploy, incentivizing them. The innovation itself could be in the technology if you're lucky. The innovation could then be in the community, the sharing. Saying, you will get $10 if you use this product. If you share this product with your customers. Revolut, Monzo, they reach that very huge market valuation, very huge that market data usage by going to the community to say, hey, university students, you get $5. When I was doing my master's in the UK, I got $50 from Monzo, and I would never forget that because I shared it with my friends. And that became a source of revenue for me because everybody that just get to school, I would then preach Monzo to them and then give them my unique ID to download. And I got over 250 people that used Monzo, and they were giving me $50 per person. So it could be in the community sharing. Do you understand what I'm saying? So let me stop there.
All right, that is a good one. That's actually a very beautiful one. Now, I would also like to ask this. You have touched on this particular question that I'm going to ask, solving an already existing problem. Now, I would like to ask this question this way, right? In solving an already existing problem, there are different ways that you can pick from, but in your opinion, which is better? Is it better to pick from an already existing problem in your community or an already existing problem in your product? Because more than half the time, those two problems can be different and they might just be different. So which of them, in your opinion, do you think is best to go with or to start with?
From my opinion, the better way to build or the better way to transform is to transform directly from the community based on what you think they need. I usually explain this concept to people when I talk about building a startup. There are two approaches. The first approach is to innovate around an already existing product, right? That is a product-driven mindset. To say, hey, I hate the way this product is. I want to build it better, right? I'll give you an example, right? Someone comes and say, I don't like the way you see the trains live, right? I will innovate around that solution. Oh, I don't like the way Zoom is. Because for Zoom, you have to click record before the platform starts recording. So I will, so many people forget to click recording. I will then build another solution that then automates. Immediately you start your session, you then get a pop-up saying, do you want to record? Don't you want to record so that you don't forget? That's a product-led type of innovation. The challenge with product-led innovation is that you and I don't know why the first movers built that into their product. Because that might be based on a certain customer intelligence. And you are just the one single person that is frustrated by that. That you are frustrated by something doesn't mean millions of other people are frustrated by that thing. It might not be a pain that is worth solving, right?
Okay.
And several times I will talk to my other startup entrepreneurs and say, your product is shitty, but then they would say, why is it shitty? Is it shitty from your perspective as an entire? Or is it shitty from millions of other users' perspective? That is one approach. The second approach is a customer community-based type of innovation, which I think is the best. You're solving the problem because you have evidence saying this community wants it this way. But the limitation with a community-based evidence is also that it is very limited to that certain community. That Americans in Harvard choose to click on Uber and share their apartment with other people doesn't mean that Africans want to share their apartments. So you then have to have a clear hypothesis that validates that this community problem is a problem that is beyond that community. That's where market research then comes in. However, no matter anyone you pick of the two has got its own pros and cons. The very good value of a product-led innovation, right, is that if you solve that problem with the product, you might have a very huge migration from that old solution to that new solution. So people saying, oh, I'm already using Zoom, but these other guys have better features. So this is a feature-driven, innovation, and the other one's a community-driven innovation. I hope I explained it, better.
All right, thank you. Thank you very, very much. That was beautifully put. Now, before we wrap up, I would like to go around again. I'm not going to call this a table, but I'd like to go around again and hear from my speakers and what they have to say. So far, so good. We do not have any questions yet, but I'd like to, before we wrap up, more like your closing remarks. And I would like to start with Philip.
Okay. So we need to understand that the journey ahead is full of challenges, right? You have a product, you're trying to sell a product to your consumers, and you should have the expectation there will be a problem, right? And you should think of, okay, what are the capacities or what can you do to resolve such problems? Like, you need to always have that in the back of your mind. You're building a wonderful product, you're pushing to your consumers. You bring the product, yes, one is to solve problems, yes, another thing is also to generate revenues, right? But one thing you should always have at the back of your mind is the journey ahead, there must be challenges. There must be downtime of your website going down, there must be consumer detractors leaving because of poor customer service and everything, right? But the power for you to always be very creative and have that passion to drive transformation ahead, it's very, very important, and it's very, very key Like, it's very key for you to have that passion and creativity, and not just you as just the founder or the manager managing the team. And it has to be that creativity and passion has to revolve. Like, it has to be a ripple effect across the team, across the company, across each unit of each of the company, right? So, and it's very, very important that digital revolution creates it's created and has created future for startups in future and more years to come. Thank
All
you.
right, thank you very, very much for that, Philip. And to you, Babajide. You're still muted.
Okay, thank you for that. So once again, thank you very much for this wonderful opportunity to engage with people on the need for digitization of different operations. So my closing remark would be we millennials, regardless of any demographic we fall into, I think we should not just see digitization as maybe an option. We should see it as it's the new wave, and there's a need, or there's a growing need to actually always be solution driven, regardless of whatever demographic you fall into. Think of a problem your neighborhood or community is facing. Think of how to profile solutions in a digitized format. And another thing is, it may not necessarily be you changing or digitizing the product. What I like to say is it's maybe digitizing access to the product. For example, people who are selling food are still selling food, but now we have digitized the access to be able to enjoy this product, child deck, delivery services, XYZ. So let's all be solution driven, and let's try to encourage and inculcate the habit of thinking about solutions to problems in our neighborhood, community, or nation at large. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And to you, Success.
Oh, so it's been a very insightful session so far, but just to encourage us millennials to embrace digital transformation, I want to touch on the fact that for every digital tool, most of them actually start with a free version, and we need to understand that when we don't even launch out to use these free versions, we will not gain momentum to expand the business. And I will also say that we should embrace consultation. Consultation can be free based on the relationships that you have built. People have gone ahead of you, and there will be people that have told that way that you are thinking you want to talk today. So we can ask questions and know how they achieved their level of digital transformation in that area of your business. And also we should understand that we should have a maintenance culture. We should be able to manage whatever we have to the level of our resources. And secondly, what is very important to me is that we have to be able to balance innovation with practicality. As Babajide has said, it may not be innovation per se, it might be access to your products. It might not be just innovating the whole product itself, it might be access to the product. So there are actually means by which we can innovate and link it to the reality on ground, the practicality of making sure that what we are innovating is actually solving problems and delivering value. Communication is key in terms of even attracting funding. If you cannot even convince yourself, how will you convince others? So we have to be very hands-on in how we communicate what we want to achieve, the problem we want to solve. And start small, start from where you are. Have a bigger picture, but start small. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for that one. And I'll move to you, Tayo.
I think everyone on the call has some sort of like talked about the things I would like to emphasize. My video is up. From my end, what I think is really important now is thinking about innovation from a less technology perspective, but more from the community business model perspective. When I was doing my master's in business strategy, I did my research on, innovating business model, and I thought about the African market, the UK market, and the American market. One of the things I find very exciting is, and this is leadership, this is where leadership comes in, is constantly thinking about how customers would like to use your product, right? And then, innovating around that usage. Ultimately, not as a one-stop, conversation, but as a continuous conversation. So when you're thinking about digital transformation, think less of technology, but think more of what is value to the customers, what is important to these customers, what do these customers really want me to solve for, right? And then take that information into technology, say, how can technology then help us to do that? But ultimately, the approach should always be, how do I solve for the customers first? And then, how do I then use technology to scale or to drive or deliver that value proposition? Thank you, guys.
All right. Thank you very, very much, my speakers. I appreciate it. And before I say my goodbyes, I'd like to mention that this is Business Day. And yes, Business Day is a leading provider of information when it comes to business news, economic analysis, and of course, every single thing that has to do with business, in the world of business generally, in Nigeria and abroad as well. And yes, you can read our papers, our physical papers, as well as our virtual papers. That is our e-copy, our e-newspaper. You can read that. All you have to do is go to www.businessday.ng. All right, that's it. As easy as that, and you'd get it. And of course, follow us on all social media platforms, Business Day NG on Instagram, Facebook, X, and even TikTok. Yes, we're on TikTok too. We're a Gen Z network. Anyway, you can do exactly that. And yes, you can join our conferences, because these events, generally, we have both virtual and physical events. You can join our conferences, be part of it, be a speaker, or even be an attendee. All right? Do all of that. Join us at Business Day. We love you. You know that already. And yes, I am Akeminiobong Michael. But you can call me Kemi Michael, especially if you're my friend. All right. Thank you so much to my speakers. I really appreciate this. And I love that you all are smart, and yes, you look good too, which is a plus if you ask me. All right, I don't know if Eyitayo is still here. I would like us to take photograph, a virtual photograph. I like to keep one of those. So if you're ready, maybe just put on your cameras and smile, and I'll ask my producer to help me take a photograph. Are we good? All right, so let's smile. All right. Thank you so much. Thank you for joining me. I really appreciate it, and have yourselves a beautiful, beautiful rest of the day, as well as a lovely year ahead. Thank you.
Thank you.